everybody, welcome back. Apologies for the way I sound, but it is summertime and allergies are kicking up. It is basically the middle of the month of June, the penultimate. You know what to do. Jank Pack Thursday for the month of June. Last week we dealt with two different Magic cards, Magic card sets. The one coming from the autograph fisherman John Burgess, and some horrifying almost 40-year-old gum coming from Tim. No gum this week. Although it should be, because with my nose stuffed up, I couldn't taste anything, so now would probably be the time to do it. 71 entries live upon the wheel, so we're going to shuffle, we're going to spin, and we've got a history factoid of the day for, for this week. On this date, June the 19th, the year is 1865. Union troops arrive in Galveston, Texas, bearing news that the Civil War has ended and slavery is officially abolished in the United States. Coming about 2.5 years after President Abraham Lincoln put out the Emancipation Proclamation, and thus we celebrate June 19th or Juneteenth, I should say, to this day. And coming up, this one came recently, and I'm blanking on what it is. A pack of Laffs cards from Budget Rips. I can't remember. It wasn't that long ago. But we will be over at the table in just a moment. And over at the... Is this... Okay, now hold on. And over at the table we are looking for a pack of... I wrote it down. Laffs. So I'm assuming it's something comedic. But... we're going to find out, because I honestly do not remember. No. DC, Thunderbirds. No. But we're going to dig and we're going to find, because that is what we always do. Nope. It's because the thing is, it's in the box somewhere. And, well, I guess while I'm doing this, yes, I was out of town over the past weekend for Father's Day and the like. So I'm just a little behind in everything, but I will get caught up at some point in the near future. TTMs, I got back Monday. Laffs! We have a winner. But yeah, so I'm a little behind, but things will get back to rolling to quote-unquote normal as soon as possible. What do we got here? Laffs, 6 TV trading cards. All right, Perfect Strangers, Family Matters, and Full House. Free Laffs TV trading card checklist. Okay, expires March 1992, so I'm going to assume this is probably, Impel 1991. Full House, Family Matters, Steve Urkel, and Perfect Strangers. Characters, names, and all related indicia, is that how that's pronounced, are trademarks of Lorimar Television, 1991. Potential TTM fuel, since it's going to be sitcom cards from the 90s? I don't know. This is going to be fun, I firmly believe. But this pack, and again, before we get into it, shout out to Budget Rips for the pack. The man who plunders Shop Goodwill, finds all kinds of bargains, all kinds of crazy stuff. Link to him down below. Please make sure to check him out. So let's get in, and apologies again for the way I sound, but man, my allergies are just ripping through me to the point where I can't even talk. But let's go in and see what in the world we've got. Shape Up. R.I.P. Bob Saget. Kimmy is having a birthday party, and of course DJ is invited. But it's a pool party, and that means wearing a bathing suit in front of lots of guys. We've all been there. Worried about her figure, DJ dives into a dangerous diet that could make her sick, and ends up learning a lot about healthy eating and healthy attitudes. God, that is 90s right there. That is 90s, is all you can say. So, all right, now we got Perfect Strangers. This Old House. Balki and Larry do their best to crack an important newspaper story, but they're the ones who end up getting covered with paint. To get the information they need, they pretend to be house painters. When they manage to get themselves hung up on a huge chandelier, they end up just hanging around. That was such a cool that was a good show. I missed that show. I miss decent TV shows. And granted, sitcoms, I'm not that huge a fan of. But at least back in the 90s, at least they were entertaining. Family Matters, let's go. Cousin Urkel. Oh, I haven't seen that show in forever. Steve finally gets the chance to visit some relatives in Mississippi. So who takes his place? Why, his cousin Myrtle, of course. Who would ever have thought there was another Urkel somewhere in the form of a girl? Certainly not Eddie, and he also never imagined she'd go for him as much as Steve goes for Laura. Man, it has been such a long time since I have seen any of those shows. Probably for good reason. A lot of stuff from back in that era just, excuse me, just unfortunately really doesn't hold up well. And especially because it was made in like the 80s and 90s, it would be considered what you would call problematic these days. Full House, let's go. Working Girl. I always liked Kimmy. I thought Kimmy got a bad rap. A part-time job sounds like a great idea to DJ, but her dad won't allow it until she promises to keep her grades up in science class. She agrees, but soon finds out that working is a lot more than just fun and games. Here, Kimmy visits DJ at her new job as a photographer's assistant in the mall. Kids, if you don't know what a mall is, ask your parents, because they are a thing of the dying past. But back in the 80s and 90s, that was the place to be. Let's go. More Perfect Strangers. Out of Sync. I don't know which outfit I would prefer. Probably Balki's, if I'm honest with you. I like the flourish around the collar. When a music manager offers Balki a deal for his dance style, Larry becomes Balki's talent agent. But they soon discover the manager was just using the cousins and dubbed in someone else's singing voice. The manager threatens to sue if they cancel the contract, so the cousins do a rap at a press conference, which proves that Balki's voice was dubbed. Yeah, but in that era, I don't think anybody really cared. And the final one, okay, so it was one of each, so it was 6 cards, 1 or 2 from each of the shows mentioned. Life with Urkel, and there's a beautiful cast shot. Big fan of him. Also, the cop in Die Hard. Reginald Vell Johnson. Once there's an Urkel in the family, there's no going back. Life just wouldn't be the same without him. The Winslow household would be missing that. Well, hey, let's face it, life without Steve Urkel might be simpler, but it sure would be a lot more boring. That's kind of how I view about this channel. You know, this channel and Jank Pack Thursday, you stay right there. You are not getting used today, although there was a chance that something would have come out of that pack. Another Budget Rips pack, excuse me, that lives in that box, is the Close Encounters of the Third Kind with 729-year-old gum. But that'll have to wait for a different day. This was fun. Brought back some memories of some shows that, you know, deep down we all really enjoyed because it was funny, it was cheesy, it was heartwarming, and especially back then, it always taught you a little lesson about how to live and how to be. But in a way, those were the good old days. But Budget Rips, my man, thank you. That was fun. And again, I'm going to dig through, see if anybody who's still around actually does TTMs. So who knows? Could be coming back in the future. And now on to our community shoutout. And since we were discussing some of the more humorous shows from back in the day, it actually fits because we have a very, very, very funny man coming up. It is Cliff on Comics at 1.24K, rapidly approaching the 1.5 and then ultimately the 2. Cliff, if you don't know Cliff, please make sure to go over and check him out. Hilarity. One of the funniest people I've seen. The timing, the delivery, the knowledge of the comics to back it up. Big fan of Cliff. Well deserving of 2,000 plus, 3,000 plus subs. Just purely for the entertainment factor. Factor in his comic knowledge to boot. Yeah, trust me. Check him out. He's always popping into comic live streams on the panels. He is insanely funny. You will not regret checking out Cliff. Big fan. And now, and obviously linked down below to Cliff. Now to the hunt pack, and we're going soccer again. We're going to find Vinnie Jones, and this one, a little impromptu shout out to Goza, because he was doing a live the other day and was talking about other stuff he wanted to try to get an open. So I asked, did Europe, since he lives in the UK, did Europe go through the same, or, well, maybe not the same time period, but did they also go through a junk wax era like we did here in the United States? And because, this made me think of it. It's like you have pro set soccer, but I think this probably sold better in the U.S. than it did. I don't know, but I do remember seeing a lot of this stuff in the U.S. But either way, that would be actually something curious to see. Did Europe have a junk wax era the same way that the U.S. did? Anyway, but we're back into it, and we are looking for Vinnie Jones. We're going to find him. We've got David Burrows. We're going to do that because we look at the team from Liverpool, one of the better teams. Jimmy Case, there's a stash right there. Yeah, look at that. From Southampton, that'd be a stash right there. Come on. Imri Varadi? Imri? I'm actually not sure how that name would be pronounced. But Leeds United, we've got to have Vinnie Jones in here somewhere. Lee Dixon from Arsenal. Let's go. The shorts, man. Steve Livingston from Coventry City. Come on. Peter Shirtliff from Sheffield Wednesday. Always wonder why it was called Sheffield Wednesday. Mike Quinn. There's another solid-looking stash right there. From Newcastle United. That's right. You know you wish to purchase a used car from him. We've got Alan Knight for Portsmouth. And the final card, skunked once again, Carl Bradshaw from Sheffield United. I've opened a lot of these packs, still have not found the Vinnie Jones yet. And that is just unfortunate, but it will happen at one point. Pardon me. So that is going to do it for Jank Pack Thursday. Thankfully, I got off easy. No gum. But like I said, with the way that my allergies have been killing me, this week would have been the perfect week for gum, because then all I would have had to do is deal with the texture, the flavor, more than although, you gotta think, some of these flavors are so powerful that even if I was completely plugged up, which I am, I'd probably still be able to taste it. Well, that's a horrifying thought to think of. Either way, that is going to do it. Thank you to everybody over in the chat so much for taking some of the time out of your very busy day to spend with me. Thank you to Budget Rips for the pack. This was fun. And I don't, sets like these can never exist anymore. If you really think about it, a set like this with multiple media franchises in it, despite them being from the same network, this couldn't happen today. With licensing and everything else, and it's just a shame. But back in the day they existed, and we got to see it once again. Me for the first time, probably a lot of you for the first time, but some of you, maybe you haven't seen it in, since 1991 or so. So shout out to Budget Rips, big thank you again for the pack. Shout out to Cliff on Comics, link to both of them will be down below. Also shout out to Brother Goza, because we got talking soccer/football, and I just thought it was, oddly timed that the soccer popped up right after, I think the day after that, he and I were discussing the junk wax era in England. So, again, that is going to do it. Thank you so much, everybody. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Let me know what you thought down below. Battle Cards resumes Saturday at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern on Tim's channel. Make sure to check that out. Hopefully I'll be able to actually talk semi-normally by then. But time will tell. So thank you all again. Appreciate every single one of you. And we will see you next time.